This is Korath Landwalker, and it's time for another exciting episode of Star Trek Online. For those who've been following over these last few weeks, I've put a pause on my representative of the Romulan Republic's journey through the Dyson Spheres arc in order to play some lesser used missions, shall we say, ever since they were pulled out from the main episode chain. Specifically, the original feature episodes. I've already done the episode with the Deferi and the Breen, the Cold Wars arc, and we are maybe halfway through the Spectres arc. Let's head back into the game and take a quick look back as to the events thus far. So far, the alien Davidians, a species introduced in the Star Trek Next Generation series. No, Sub-Commander Cole, I'm afraid you are still on hold. It's all saying. Involving Commander Data's head. It's well worth looking up on Memory Alpha's website. In any event, they seem to be rearing their ugly head again, thanks to the appearance of Driffin's Comet, and it apparently has a link to time travel, because during the last episode we found some dead bodies and some folks back from the 23rd century. So time travel seems to be in our immediate future. But before we start that up, let's take a look at some administrivia. I seem to have completed a couple reputations here, so let me collect my reward for the new Romulan reputation. And let's do another daily. And this might be the last daily, yes. Because you'll notice I no longer have the Romulan marks to advance any further in the new Romulus reputation. Now, should I at some point get access to... Actually, I should be able to get access to some boxes that will allow me to choose what marks I want to use. I will be able to go a little further with this. But I am sitting right now at 50,000 reputation. I need 60,000, so I'm going to need at least 60 marks before I can go to the next level here. I also got myself a little more to the Dyson Joint Command, and I still have plenty of marks there. Of course, my tier isn't all that high either, but we are going to use them as well. It's times like this that make me appreciate the fact that I have heaps of expertise, because 2,000 to crack, now it's 4,000 to crack. Clearly I am burning through it. Although, not anywhere near the speed I would require to have problems. Of course, I thought that I would be able to find my expertise totals here. So maybe it's on my character sheet. No, that would have made life too easy. Where, oh where did they hide the information about how much expertise I've got? Oh, if I click on promote here, there we go, 537,000. I'm obviously not going to be having any trouble here. I don't believe there's anything fancy I need to deal with on my officers. One of these days I should consider filling up some of these extra officer slots that I've got. It hasn't been a priority, but at some point I'll get to that, and the reason I want to keep some of them open are because of things that have not happened yet in the future that I look forward to sharing. Okay, that takes care of our administrivia. I don't believe I have anything in my inventory that's worth writing home about right now. Oh, I have an Endeavor reward. I must have gotten an Endeavor completion somewhere along the line. You'll recall that there are Endeavors, once you get to high enough level, that if you do certain things, you will gain well, rewards. And these rewards will eventually go into getting these perk points that can increase various stats. And it's kind of random. No big deal on that. But I noticed that one of them involves space plasma damage. Need I note, just about every weapon I've got here is plasma damage. Except for this one, which is the experimental weapon, and this one, which is the transphasic torpedo. I'm not 100% certain if they will count plasma torpedoes, so that one's kind of a maybe. Well, I guess it does, because it says plasma damage. So I have a fair chance at getting this second tier of personal endeavor rewards. I also have this one about repairing hull in space. Well, it's not impossible, so I could potentially be unlocking no less than 2 different rewards. Oh yeah, I have this pattern enhancer. I'm going to give that to one of my bridge officers. I'll give it to Shayla, so that at some random points she will put that up and I can take advantage of the defensive opportunities that it will give me. I am still carrying my Ghostbuster proton rifle, my proton pack. I just really understood that now. It's only been around for, 8-9 years, and I'm only just now getting it. That's kind of sad. Okay. As with all of these arcs from the old days, shall we say, they are not located in where you would expect in the episode chain, but rather in the available tab. And they only become available once you get to level 65, which, as I've ranted before and am going to do so again, is stupid. Because that way you're losing out on some pretty important things that I feel really do need to stay in the episode chain. But we will rant on that later. In the meantime, the contact for this series is Franklin Drake, a fellow who works for Section 31, an organization that claims to be working for the betterment of the Federation and Starfleet, but use methods that would be considered unethical, immoral. Take your pick. In any event, he is the one who is going to kick us off with our next mission.
The Dravidians have found a way to harness this surge of triolic energy. The existence of the Dravidian portal means they're traveling freely between the station in the present and in the past. Since 23rd century technology can't detect the Dravidian phase shift, that time period is rife with potential victims. The only choice now is to stop the incursion at the source. You'll have to take that portal into the past and find out how the Dravidians are creating this new surge of triolic energy.
What I tell you about
Stop
time
them
travel.
and find a way back without altering the timeline. Don't worry about temporal investigations. I'll pull a few strings. They'll never know you were gone. Best to keep your team small, just in case.
I don't really care about temporal investigations anyway, since, Romulan Republic. Rewards. Once again, the experience point reward is not exactly commensurate with where I'm at as far as level and all that, but then again, I'm only getting expertise points. Sorry, specialty points. That said, I'm only a little under 8,000 to go in order to get my next specialization point, so that is incoming. Plus another 12,000 expertise, which means that easily swallows the expertise I threw into those reputations. That'll leave you more. And, intriguingly, twin phaser beam arrays. Now, the reason why this is intriguing is because these phaser beam arrays mimic the phasers from the original series for Starfleet vessels. I don't expect to actually use it because, well, I'm not flying a Starfleet vessel. But, it's good to have.
Until next time.
Now, we discovered the portal that Davidians were using on the lower levels of Drozana Station. So it's time to hop into Drozana again, deal with the Ferengi saying, "Welcome to Drozana!" and get the show on the road.
Welcome to Drozana. You're cleared
What'd I tell
for
ya?
docking.
Let's dock and cut off his sales pitch. I mean, come on, really? Now, the last time we went to the lower levels via this console over here, and to nobody's great surprise, that's where I gotta go for this. However, since they recommended I keep my team small, I'm going to take... Well, let's think about this, shall we? Two of us are Romulans, but in the era of the 23rd century, I'm not entirely sure it was widely known that the Romulans looked like Vulcans. So maybe I will take Lauer and reduce the number of quote-unquote Vulcans that I have with the team. Of course, all that said, that means I should probably start making sure that Lauer can actually hold his own. His shields are reasonably acceptable. I don't feel the need to upgrade his shield. His weapon could use a little bit more kick, especially since he's using an exposed weapon and tactical guys could use exploits. Of course, I could always open up these new Romulus equipment boxes and see if there's anything interesting in it that he can use. But nah. And we'll upgrade his armor. So that should allow him to, at the very least, hold his own. Better weapon? Nah, I think AoEs are going to be the way to go here. That'll give him more aggro, of course, but you know, life is filled with tragedy. So, we are, for the first time, going to take a Starfleet officer with me. I sure hope that they don't look at his badge. Oh well, I can always say he's cosplaying. As usual, we will deal with the painful loading of the episode, where you have a progress bar, effectively, with those percentages rising very painfully slowly. We're almost at 2% full. And if I thought it was going to be consistent at that speed, I would be going completely nuts. But I know that, there we go, it doesn't take much to get that 30% and suddenly it starts jumping and jumping and jumping, and before you know it, bang. Properly modulated energy discharge should allow us to use this portal to follow the Davidians back through time. Once we get there, though, it might be a bit trickier to get back. We should bring as few people as possible to minimize the chances of distorting the timeline. Well, no, I've done my best. Try to act Vulcan-like. You're a science officer, it should come easy. So, Davidian portal, I'm going to hit it with my proton pack. Who you gonna call? And now I have the option. Take the portal into the past. Gotta get back to the past. And once again, we have the painful load screen. I don't get how many MMOs fail to put something together that's seamless. Warcraft did it, and that was years ago. EVE Online kinda does it. They managed to hide their transitions through their jump gates. Cryptic never managed to get the hang of it. Whoa! Take a look at this. We're still in Drozana Station, just in the past. We must tread lightly. If we damage the station or cause any needless deaths, we could damage the timeline irrevocably. Personally, I would prefer the timeline I know to something unknown and unpredictable. Cunning and stealth will be our most important assets here. Set weapons to heavy stun. We're still in the computer core. Wonder why there's nobody here. There should be somebody here, even just a technician. If we can find the right parts, we can cobble together a subspace field emitter and perhaps get an idea of what the Davidians are doing here. But using 23rd century technology will make it much more difficult. The Federation won't develop ways to detect the subspace variances that the Davidians use until almost a century from now. Make a list of equipment here so we can use equipment that we can use to fine-tune Rosanna Station's sensor array. We can find the regulator components somewhere near the computer core, induction coil on the power systems level. So, it's a scrap hunt. Alright. Boy, look at all this when it looks new. And if this doesn't give you the original series vibes, there's no hope for you. I mean, seriously. It just was so well done. And the great thing is, well, I'll go on more on the great thing in a bit. Examining the door. It don't work. The station is on medical alert. Non-essential personnel are confined to quarters and the computer core is locked down. There are things I could probably say here, but they might hit a little too close to home right now, so I'm just going to let it lie. The lockdown works both ways. No one can get in, we can't get out. But these systems had well-documented problems. It shouldn't be too hard to override the controls. These old duotronic computers have a memory fault that makes them susceptible to overloads. An overload could cause it to lose processes, like the one locking the door to the computer core. In this century, there shouldn't be any tasks that could overload them. But there's an infamous 24th century warp geometry problem that would be insoluble with the processing power available to this computer. If we set the console to divert processing to parts of this problem, we might be able to cause a memory overwrite that would make the computer lose its security lockdown. So, basically, our goal is to break the computer, so to speak. So, let's see what we got here. Okay, we have control systems. Bank 1 working. I don't know enough about what's going on here, so we're going to leave that be right now. Main memory. Oh, now look at this. No memory faults detected. Medical alert currently engaged. Critical systems nominal. Let's reset non-critical processes and check the memory banks. Queued. 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 And that one over there sets memory bank 1. Click on that, and now it's working. So we can go from queued to working. So the goal here is to get working on everything. Now, we're going to see if I can't find something on the upper level here. Oh, is that the one I've already done? I don't think so. Let's go back down to the lower level. Environmental systems. Awesome. I can switch between banks 1 and 2. Interesting. Let's do that right now, just for giggles. So now we have bank 1 queued and bank 2 working. So what we're looking at here is a puzzle problem. So, you know, no worries. So memory bank 1 is no longer active. What do we have here? We can switch 1 and 3. Well, gee, 1 and 3 gets me nothing, does it? So, I mucked up a little bit. But not as much as one may think. So I know this one's important. So we're going to put memory 1 back on. Then we're going to go back up the stairs. Okay, technically it's a ramp. Don't hurt me because I can't use proper terminology. Up the ramp. Cough, cough, wheeze. Run, 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 run. And we're going to switch those two. So now we have 1 is queued, 3 is working. And as you'll recall, number 2 should still be working. And now I'm going to put number 1 back on again. That did it. The door should open now. And lo and behold, it has opened. And now... well, this could be inconvenient. We've been spotted. Hey, what? I mean, who are you? I haven't seen you around here before. Identify yourself! Lieutenant Myers, is it? The station is on medical alert. Nobody's supposed to be in the computer core area but me. Hey, is that a weapon? Don't try anything or I'll have to stun you. Ooh, scary. Then again, that would probably lead to all sorts of inconveniences. I'm not even sure if my species is even known to the Federation at this point. I'm lost?
The lift shouldn't have let you come down to this level. How did you get here?
Somehow, I think option number 1 would be an incredibly horrible thing to say. I mean, I'm tempted to do it just for the laughs. But, you know, something, timeline contamination, something. I was stuck on the lift. This is where it left me out.
You should have used the intercom to call for assistance. It's not safe to move about the station during a medical alert.
You're absolutely right. I should get back to the main station areas.
Follow me. I'm going to call security for an escort.
Really? What if I'm contagious?
I guess you're right. Look, just go up to the main.
In fact, you probably shouldn't be standing
the
this close to
emergency
me.
medical center as soon as possible and get checked out. There's a doctor up there who has set up a triage center for the affected patients.
Thank you so much. Now, I recommend you go far, far away from me because, you know, if I'm contagious, who knows what horrible things could happen to you. You could come down with, well, whatever the hell it is all you people have come down with. Oops. No. I don't want you contaminated. I'm going to keep the distance here. Even though this is nowhere near the direction I should be going, but, you know, I can see the glowy over here, to use old City of Heroes terms. Check the console for anything useful. Ooh, a duotronic transducer relay. That sounds like something that we can use to build out a subspace field emitter. Oh, a patrol team's ahead. And since we're on medical alert, they're probably doing the standard patrol. We might be able to sneak past them, or even lock them in one of the side rooms. Interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have a good handle on where they're at, so this could get a little... Oh, that door just closed, though. Whoa, that door just opened. Let's back out. Let's take a precaution here. Put everybody on passive. The last thing I want is to have my people accidentally start shooting and really screwing up the timeline. Good news is there's something in here, so... Oops, no. Lock the door. Oh, what have I done? Okay, didn't realize that was an inside door lock. It looked like something I could use. That would have been inconvenient. Like, horribly inconvenient. Okay, that should keep that patrol locked inside and remove any problems that I might have. Of course, since there's a console on the inside, you would think it would be easy for them to unlock that door, but let's not break the illusion. More Tarlic waves. There must be Davidians somewhere on this station in this time period. And oh good, look. It's a ensign, I guess. Yes. Part of me says knock her out, but trying to be non-violent, shall we say.
Oh, hey. You shouldn't be here. You should get up to the quarantine area.
What are you working on?
Oh, just running a level 3 diagnostic on the subsystem. The computers on the station are state-of-the-art. I can simulate an entire copy of the station and display every piece of it as a wireframe model.
Can you show me how that works?
I'm really busy with this diagnostic. Sorry. You really should go up to the quarantine.
That didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. Let's try this.
Oh, hey. You shouldn't be here.
Yeah, what are you working on? That's impressive.
I know, isn't it? I'm very fortunate to be able to work here. Working on a station like this really strikes home just how modern and new everything is.
Yes, modern, new. Isn't this tied to the main computer core?
Yes, although it has its own memory and subprocessor as well. It can even work in parallel with the computer core's main processor.
You know, they keep really trying to push these two, which is why I'm trying to ignore them. What happens if you tie to the main computer memory?
Here, I'll show you. That's odd. The core isn't responding to my request. I need to go talk to Lieutenant Myers. Make sure you get up to the quarantine area and get checked out by the doctor.
Oh, yes, right away. I'll get right on that. Oh, by the way, while you're busy, before I do though, we're gonna loot this. Oh, excellent. This could cause injury and/or death. Disable power taps, discharge static electricity, unlock safety cage, unclamp data lead. Okay, that sounds kind of reasonable. Disable power taps. I guess that would be disconnect power first. I hope I did that right. Next step, discharge static electricity. Okay. Unlock the safety cage. And remove the monitor. And take the regulator. Oh good, I didn't kill myself. Awesome. I'm gonna screw up the timeline, but I don't care. I'm harvesting the Z particles. Even the timeline cannot prevent me from being drawn to exotic particles and harvesting them as best I can. Which way do I go? Which way do I... Ooh, well, that's a dead end. Is it a dead end? I don't know if it's a dead end. Let's find out. If the door doesn't open, it's a dead end. It's a dead end. Alright, the other way then. Do run, the do run. And it looks like an elevator. Now you may have noticed something interesting, how I've been going all these ramps in a square pattern, ending with a maintenance lift. This isn't the distribution level. Security is overridden the turbo lift. They've detected our arrival. If we're going to get out of this without a fight, we better look for alternatives quickly. Find a console we can use to override the turbo lift so we can keep going. Okay, well here's an override. Let's hit it. For the clever among you, you may have recognized that we are doing the exact opposite. Oh, just in time. If we're cautious, we might be able to avoid Starfleet officers while they're not looking. Basically, if you recall in the What Lies Beneath episode, we went down further into the computer core. Now we're heading up and up away from the computer core. We are seeing Grazana, the exact same map, with different skins. Okay, so... Oh, well there's one person. And there's a couple others. Get back here, no. Problem here is... Oh, hydraulic waves are getting worse. Problem here is, you've got this ensign who's just sitting there. You know, back in the day when this mission first came out, they would at least move around, so you had a chance of getting around them. Alright, well, someone has to be a guinea pig, why not you? Run! Nuts, I didn't mean to do that. I only meant one of them to run. Well, the good news is they got across undetected. That just leaves me. Man, if there was ever a time I wish I had cloaking devices or something, now would be it. Oh, and there's another one over there. This is gonna get dicey. Nobody's shooting at me. Awesome. Unfortunately, now we have another problem. There are a bunch of Starfleet people in there, and I don't see any way around them.
Hold it right there.
Boy, that was an awful masculine noise for a feminine-looking character. And, well, looks like I don't really have any other options here because the only one here is attack. Fun fact, back in the day, if you'd gotten your diplomacy rank high enough, you could get through this encounter with no violence. Those were the days, right? Let's see. Let's stack things in my favor, shall I? If I'm going to have to fight anyway, I might as well have every possible advantage. That means medical, shielding, and lots of firepower. Okay. Oops, I don't want to use the Ghostbuster weapon for this. These are Starfleeters. Alright, I guess we can release you guys from passive. If violence needs to be done, best to be done quickly. You're still standing, but you're no longer factor, so I'm not going to worry about you. Instead, I'm going to override the maintenance lift lock. Okay, so apparently when Starfleet people become stunned and unconscious, they remain standing. Very impressive. Now, folks will remember that if you look at this carefully, we are on the same level as Bonnie-kin. Bonnie-kin. In fact, right in here was where we fought the crazed hologram. Ooh, ionium gas. Yes, I'm risking our mission, but I don't care. I must have it. Luckily, mobile emitter technology is way ahead of this era. It's still crazy experimental in the home era of 2409. Alright, let's take the lift. We should be able to find an induction coil on this level as part of the power systems. Then we simply need to rig the subspace inducer to the sensor array and we can pinpoint the Davidian's incursion. That sounds easy. I think it'll be wise, though, to holster my weapon. Let's see, anything here? No. I should get to quarantine before this gets worse. I agree completely. Of course, I'm probably immune because I am really, really alien. I mean, really alien. Hey! Well, now we have the introduction to a legend. Dr. Leonard H. Bones McCoy. I feel like he has some part to play in history somewhere. Possibly involving starships called Enterprise. Okay, he doesn't need any more introduction from me. Everybody who knows Star Trek knows Dr. McCoy. And if you don't, what is wrong with you? I'm not even going to try to emulate his voice because... Sorry, I can't do it. You there, don't just stand there. Come over here and give me a hand. People are dropping like flies on this station. It's all I can do to keep up. Just for giggles. Who are you? McCoy, Leonard H. But there's no time for introductions. I haven't seen anyone like you around here before, but this isn't my normal posting. Thank heavens. I was supposed to be on shore leave. Now lend a hand or get out of the way. What's going on? Some kind of illness is affecting the people on the station. Blue flashes and ghost stories. There has to be a reason for it, and we need to stop it. People are dying here. Okay, what do you need me to do? As far as I can tell, all these people reported seeing strange blue flashes of light. Now they're all dying. They're worse than dead. Their brains are gone. Whatever this disease is, it's suppressing brain activity at an alarming rate. It's almost as if the energy between the neurons was being removed somehow. The blue flashes seem to be associated with a strange form of radiation, so we've set up the triage center here. That crazy engineer said that the power distribution station is heavily shielded. What kind of radiation? How should I know? I'm a doctor, not an engineer. Boy, that felt good to say. The blue flashes are still happening anyway. We need some way to replace that neural energy. Jumpstart their brains somehow. You mean like cold restarting a warp engine? I suppose that's one way of looking at it. But the mind is a much more complex and delicate instrument. Maybe that's the key. The brain might be able to restart itself if stimulated correctly. Give the energy it needs, then a stimulus to make it spread throughout the nervous system. I need to know how much neural energy the survivors have so that we can figure out how much they've lost. Then we'll need to apply cortical stimulators at the correct frequency. It's no panacea, but it may save the lives of the crew. If we don't save these people, there's no telling how much it might change future events. Oh, but she has no idea. It seems that we have little choice but to assist the humans, sir. Come on, grab a tricorder and start checking the neural activities of some of these survivors. Take note of your readings. We're going to have to calculate the difference from a healthy mind and determine the right frequency to stimulate the brain. A normal human neuron has a resting potential of minus 70 millivolts. Once you have some readings, we'll calibrate a cortical stimulator and try to revive some of these people. Yeah, this won't be difficult at all. Okay, well, let's scan this one and see what we can find out. Okay, scan neuron resting potential. Minus 58 millivolts. Normal, minus 70. So we have a difference of about 12? I think that works for my math. Sodium potassium pump levels. Neurons are elevated, limited to 15 millivolts active potential, normal potential plus 30. So we seem to have a discrepancy of 15 here. I have a sneaking feeling I'm going to screw this up horribly because they're throwing a billion numbers at me. I can barely keep track of my own information, my own stuff. Keeping track of all this medical terminology. I think my brain is going to pop and explode. What else we got? Scan for anomalous neural activity. Well, that won't be hard. Sodium potassium ions depleted. Some neurons incapable of electrical response. Likely cause sudden change in neural voltage. Predicted results: fatigue, blurred vision, dulled senses, and a loss of autonomic functions. In all those cases, I think it adds up to that would be bad. I know, that really didn't help all that much. Okay, well, let's move on to the next patient. Neural patterns. Minus 60 to minus 70. Okay, so I think what we're looking at is that they're all higher than they should be. Because remember, a negative number that is larger is actually lesser. That's advanced math for all you folks. Neural sodium potassium pump. Elevated sodium potassium gates damaged. Anomalous activity. Damaged by forcible ion movement. Sudden change in neural voltage. Hallucinations. Loss of motor function. Nervous system damage. Well, that's going to be a little tricky, isn't it? Okay, McCoy Leonard H. Ready to try some neurosurgery? I'm the wrong person to ask. Let's review our findings. Normal human resting potential. Let's see if the NPC thing comes up here. I bet I'll have to refer to this later. Minus 70 millivolts. Normal neural activity, plus 30. At rest, contains positively charged sodium ion exterior, positively charged potassium ions interior and exterior. Action potential. Neuron open sodium gates. Sodium transitions to interior. Neural charge switches from minus 70 to plus 30. I hope that action potential is telling me the answer here, because... Oh yeah, request explanation. What does all this mean? We need to restore the mind to its baseline state. Review your findings and set your cortical stimulator so it will reset the brain back to normal. Hopefully, with a little push from the cortical stimulator, the subject's brain will repair itself with some time and rest. Okay, voltage. Well, we've seen them at minus 60, so I think we want to go to minus 70 here. Action potential. Oh, we're screwed. Plus 30. Plus 30. Plus 30. Sodium, potassium channel status. I think we wanted to go from... interior? No, we wanted to do both, didn't we? Sodium transitions to interior. Oh, wait, we got to do with potassium too. Nuts. Address contains positively charged sodium, positively potassium. Okay, sodium external, potassium external and internal. I sure hope that's right. Let's try it. Okay, Doc. You're the doc. I don't know why I'm being asked for any of this. I don't know anything about the... Oh, must have done it right after all. It worked. We need to get this to station commander. Come on! Ooh, yeah, this is a good chance for us to find that induction coil. We'll just take a turn off here. He has more important things to do than deal with missing aliens. Even if one looks like a Vulcan. Borrow induction coil. Don't mind if I do. Now we need to integrate the subspace field emitter into the station scanners. Okay, looks like I gotta hop the railing here. Knock, knock, knock. Crank, crank, crank. It's working. The emitter has adjusted the active scanners for the station. What do you make of these readings? Imaging shows that the station is becoming suffused with triolic radiation coming from Griffin's comet. The comet itself is emitting mass amounts of triolic energy. The Davidians must have realized that's a natural source of the energy, and they're using it as an easy way to shift into sync with us. It's like riding behind the wake of a ship in the water. But that's not all they're doing. They're harnessing the cryolic energy and suffusing it with chronoton particles. With that, they could have enough energy to move the entire station out of phase. Maybe even the entire sector. We have to stop them. Well, the comet is the key. But we can't do anything about it without a ship. And a 23rd century vessel isn't going to be able to do the job. Lauer, you're of no help whatsoever. With this information, it's clear that we have to find some way to destroy the comet. We can use one of the auxiliary reactors in sync with the subspace emitter that we've hooked up to the station in order to make a portal that will take us back to our own time. Once we make it back, we'll have to report in and find a way to bring a ship back with us to destroy the comet. This feels like a horribly, horribly risky idea. But first things first, we've outstayed our welcome. Let's take use of that cryolic energy, shall we? Alright, and now we should be able to... Oh! Those guys aren't portals. I don't like the fact that they've made the portal something that's destructible, because that's something that would be all too easy to accidentally wipe out. I missed everything she just said. No. Let's, guys, passive. Let's not blow up our way out. Okay, here we go. We have another problem. Of course we have another problem. We've absorbed so much cryolic radiation at this point that traveling through a gate again could cause radiation poisoning. Normally, we would just use hyronalin to flush it out, but our medical supplies aren't protected against phase heat. Our hyronalin supply is probably already irradiated. It isn't the sort of problem that comes up frequently. We'll need large doses to chelate out the existing cryolic radiation and protect us from the transition back to the portal. And there's only one person who could probably get it for us. Yeah, I guess we better find McCoy. Let's hope he doesn't take it too personally that we didn't. Oh, there he is. How convenient. Hi, I got lost. Something else you need? Oh, I've got a... Roy, this is the excuse we've got here? I have a friend who took a little too much cryolic radiation and could use some iron now. Man, this is so flimsy it's not even funny. A friend, eh? With all the radiation flares that the station's experiencing, we're probably going to be a little short on iron now in ourselves. I could maybe spare a hypo, but if your friend is getting radiation, he or she is on the station already. I'll need a double dose to chelate out a significant amount of cryolic radiation. You should never lie to your doctor or your bartender. That much radiation would mean you've experienced something close to the epicenter, like fooling around with cryolic waves. You don't need green blood and pointed ears to know that that's a bad idea. But when the people on the station really needed it, you came through. I appreciate that. I think I could spare a few doses, just don't let the station's captain hear about it. Thank you. Look, I'm not sure who you are or where you came from, but I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just an old country doctor, but I know better than to ask too many questions about a little unexpected help. You probably shouldn't loiter around here too much longer or people will start to ask questions. I'm going to put these cortical stimulators to good use. And thanks. You saved a lot of lives today. We can take the portal back to our own time. Yes, before we potentially screw things up further. And we are back. Back to...
So Driffin's comet is the source of the
Mr.
cryolic
Gray.
radiation. That explains a lot. However, we cannot simply destroy it in our time.
Yeah, we
The
just told you
Davidians
that.
have the means to go back to the 23rd century and harness its energy there. However, that will be their only other chance. Before that, there's no Drozana station, so there's no place that will be close enough to the comet's trajectory to be of use to them. The only logical solution is to alter the past. Destroy the comet there, and save the Federation.
This feels like
As
a
it
horrible,
happens,
horrible
I have
idea.
access to a way to transport your ship back to the 23rd century. It's risky, but I think the odds are in your favor. And if they aren't, there's always time for another try. I'll make the arrangements. Stay in touch.
It's nice to have them bald-facedly tell us that we're expendable. Okay, let's grab that phaser beam array, collect our
Until
stuff,
next time.
Congratulations, Admiral.
and let's grab that specialization point, shall we? I've been working the command officer tiers. I see no reason to change that. The obvious thing is to fill out this tree. And I have to admit, I kind of like it. Anytime a foe is successfully vaporized within 20 meters, it will trigger a heal for all teammates within 50 meters. There's a lot to like about that one. Or I could grab the Achilles heel, which will temporarily expose them to additional damage, weakening resistances, and it's basically a space crate. Yeah, let's go for the victory cry. That gets me to unlocking the tier 4 stuff. And I now have access to the command frequency trait. So let's go to traits for a moment. I guess I put it automatically. Nice. And it is a very handy trait too, isn't it? It improves fleet support. So if I call for backup, the cooldown is reduced by 5 minutes, and I no longer have to be at low health to use it. I'm not really sure that's really an issue anymore, honestly. But I will take it. All ranks of fleet support no longer have a hold. Yeah, I'll take that. And now, the final mission of Spectres, Night of the Comet. And he's not going to talk at us. Fine, I can do that. We've determined that the Davidians are using the triolic energy of Driffin's comet to ease their entry into our phase variance. That is the cause of all the incidents in the neutral zone. But it's worse than that. It's possible that, given the amount of triolic and temporal energy in that comet, that the Davidians will be able to destabilize the area of space surrounding the comet enough that they will pull it and everything in it into their phase variance. In essence, they're trying to steal an entire sector. The resulting effects of the surrounding space would make the destruction of Romulus look like the popping of a party favor. The only thing we can do to stop it is destroy the comet before the Davidians can use it. It's not enough to do it in the present, because the Davidians will still have access in the 23rd century when the comet moves past Rosanna Station. We have to destroy it there. You'll need your ship this time, so you can't use the Davidian portal on the station. I can help you get to the past, but you'll need to follow my instructions precisely. Good luck. So, we need to go to the Bepi 113 system and save the past from the Davidians. We have, well, nothing unusual for expertise, experience, and dilithium. But look at the options we get for rewards. Old style phaser rifle, old style phaser pistol, or, if you're more viciously inclined, Klingon disruptor pistols. Basically choose one.
Until next time.
So, let's get off of Rosanna. Hopefully this will be the last time we set foot on Rosanna. Guess the odds on that one.
Welcome to Rosanna. You're cleared for docking.
Yeah, well, we are getting out of here. You can stop your spiel. La la la, I'm not listening.
You'll find it all here.
He's still talking.
The 77th rule of acquisition. If you break it, I'll charge you for it.
There's Bepi. Let's make use of our quantum slipstream. Mainly because, hey, why not? It'll be recharged by the time I need it again. And I'm pretty sure I just went right past where I need to go. Night of God. Redacted. That can't be a good sign. Ah! Ah! Too far. Too far. That one was my fault. Let's begin, shall we? Of course, we have our continued slow load. Painfully slow. Glacially slow. Here we go, we're past 30, so we should be done. We're close to it. Incoming hail. Do I put on the screen? Oh yes. I rather think I do. Let's see. Very few people ever get to see this system, and even fewer from allied intelligence networks. My organization has gone to a lot of trouble to keep it off the navigational charts, and we expect it to stay that way. This star is ideal for what starship pilots call a slingshot. Section 31 uses it from time to time to deal with problems that take a more creative approach to solve. Your best chance of getting back to the point in time where you need to be is to use the star's gravity to accelerate your ship to such a high speed that you will be able to access the time continuum. I've taken the liberty of having the light speed breakaway calculations added to your ship's database. You will need to hit a series of points as you move around the star. After you make your approach, you should see a navigational beacon. Aim for it, and you will have the correct trajectory for the slingshot. This is a tricky maneuver. If you don't hit each point in the correct order and time, it won't work. I hope your helm officer is up to the task. One more thing before you start. I also added a holo emitter to your vessel. You will appear to be a Klingon D7 with appropriate access codes for the time period. Do we really want to be approaching a Federation base in a Klingon ship? I'm just saying. But still have access to all of the 25th century firepower you will need to deal with the comet. Don't alter the timeline any more than you have to. Destroy the comet and stop the Davidians, but other than that, try to stay out of trouble. I'd wish you luck, for I have a feeling you wouldn't think I was being sincere. He is a good student of psychology. We're ready to engage the emitter and start our run around the star. And there it is. Although, the funny thing is, the D7 is still using my shield visuals, so I am the fanciest, shiniest looking D7 this side of the galaxy. Alright. Let's rock it and roll it. Seems pretty straightforward. Fly through these rings. That should not be horribly difficult. Unless, of course, I find my speed suddenly accelerated. By a lot. A whole lot. A real lot. But we are slingshotting, so never argue with success. Loading, loading, loading. I'll put a music thing for doing loading, for using, basically replacing the lyrics for Rawhide, but I would be worried that the DMCA takedowns would arrive just for having that kind of tune. They probably wouldn't accept parody as a suitable reason for it to exist. Otherwise, I would probably bind a key to play that every time I had that come up. Missed opportunities. Captain, based on the decay of elements in the system, we have arrived approximately 150 years in the past, somewhere around the Earth year 2265. Why would I want Earth year? I know, it's for the players. Still. Incoming hail! It's from a Constitution-class starship identifying itself as the USS Ribbon James. Kenny Rogers. Still miss you. Putting it on screen now.
Attention, unidentified ship. I am Commodore Jacob Ross, in command of the USS Reuben James. We have been searching for a Klingon vessel reported to have attacked a colony in the Gliese system. You fit the description of the ship we are looking for. Unless you can prove you are not, we will take immediate action.
I just want to take an opportunity to say, screw you, Franklin Drake! They've closed the channel, not responding to hails, and their weapons are charging. We can't seriously damage this ship without risking damage to the timeline, but we have to defend ourselves. Fight the disabled. Stupid freaking Constitution. Starfleet idiots. And what happened to my superior weaponry? If it were superior weaponry, I should be cleaning these guys up. I mean, these guys are 23rd century nobodies, and I'm flying a 25th century state-of-the-art Romulan starship. I will say this, however. They have put me in marvelous position to try to get the magnesite ore. They have cloaking technology yet? Asking for a friend. Well, the good news is we actually got some oops. That did not do what I wanted to do. I wanted to take the items. Okay, now let's see what you have to say. Captain, the comet is approaching the station. Its trialic energy is making it easier for the Davidians to manifest. The people on that station don't have any way to fight them. We will have to help, or they'll all die. Okay, well, again we have the little problem of so many Romulans. So we're going to take Lauer again, but I don't think I can get around to using Varsal. Because, you know, everybody else are Romulans. Romulan. I mean, I can grab Shayla because she's a Reman, so they're not as well known, shall we say. Do I have anybody in here that would actually qualify? I do have some human officers. The problem is that the really good ones are tactical, and I can do a Reman officer. You know what, that's going to take more time than I'm willing to spend. We're just going to have to go in with what we've got and hope that things are crazy enough that nobody really pays attention to the fact that there are Vulcan-like people. And hey, Varsal science too. Maybe he'll be able to do the whole logical thing. Just look stern and say, highly illogical on a regular basis. We'll be okay. And Tovin can keep the ship running while we're running around under Ozana again. I can learn to hate you people, especially you, Franklin Drake. Give us a freaking holo emitter of someone who's caused trouble in the past. Which, come to think of it, given that was Section 31 we're talking about, we are reading multiple Davidian life signs. We'll have to work quickly to clear the station of their presence. Alright. Weapons out. And, oh, here they come. Let's see if I can nuke them first. Okay, an excellent start. I don't think anyone here appreciated the Davidians crashing their party. Detecting weapons fire, broken glass, signs of a struggle. It's a bar fight, sir, and we'll need to quote if we want any chance of stopping the Davidians. The temporal prime directive is in effect, sir. Recommend we set all weapons to stun to minimize possible damage to the timeline. Oh, before I do that, just making sure the back is clear, because you'll notice that this is still green, which is indicating something is supposed to happen in there, but priorities. We're going to try to get the Davidians as priority targets. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to try to get the Davidians as priority targets. I'll let my bridge crew do what they do. How? Okay. It's getting rough. I'll tell the seeker drones to do the same thing. So far so good. Davidians are going down. Coffee. Okay, that took care of the bar fight. Awesome. Unfortunately, the Davidians have just gone exactly where I feared they would. Oh, here's that. There's the item I referred to earlier. Hi guys, bet you thought we'd left. Here, let me make it easier on you. Field rations. Yum. Why these guys would be carrying field rations is beyond me, but... And that takes care of this room. Oh, how could I have I missed this? Must harvest. Oh, I'm so consistent. Okay, we got bad people in both directions. Let's head to north first. Relative north. I'm still a minute out from another nuke, so I'll just have to satisfy myself with ghost busting. Yeah, busting makes me feel good. Oh, I still have a problem over there. Can't indulge my harvesting frenzy until I've taken care of the problems. There we go. Gee, I sure hope those aren't important to the timeline. I'd feel kind of bad. Okay, I actually don't feel bad at all. Alright, more of these guys. Oh, and we have other people in here. Is that a Klingon who's cowering? That's just sad. That's just sad. I expect better from the Klingons, even original series ones. I have another nuke available, but I'm not wasting on this guy. Yeah, I sure hope this weapon isn't doing anything to civilians, because, you know, it's awfully embarrassing to cause them serious injury. Ooh, root beer, yum. Oops, how'd he get past us? Of course, we're talking about ghosts. Of course they're going to be able to get past us. This door appears locked. Oh, that ain't good. Shrouded Phantasm? Portals? I think you're a little behind. We're at now. You know, those Davidian portals feel like it'd be a bad idea to leave them active, though. Yep, they're spawning Davidians. That's what I was afraid of. One down. Hopefully my people can handle the big bads while I'm taking these things down. It's not like I didn't leave them with anything. I've got turrets. I've got medical things. I've got shield recharging. Surely they can handle a few. Oh, apparently they have, because they're now helping me out with the last portal. Yes, Lauer, go kung fu on that portal. Kirk would be proud of you. And hold on here now. What's that say? What does that say? talk to Lieutenant Commander Scott. Yes, boys and girls, it's yet another legend. If you don't know who Mr. Scott is, turn in your Star Trek card.
Thanks for the help, friend. What were those things? That spirit snuck up on me. I noticed a spike in trialic energy, and I was working to adjust the station's shields to compensate. I went to fetch a hyperspatter, and I was attacked. If you help me, I can finish my repairs before the trialic energy reaches lethal levels.
I like that idea.
By the way, you can call me Scotty.
Well, Scotty, let's head over. What are those blasted things? I don't know. They look like Spectres. Yeah, that's it. Let's tie into the story arc as much as we can here. Haven't seen you around here before. What ship are you assigned to? Oh, I'm flying a stolen Klingon ship. Oh, and I'm saying this as I go right between a pair of Klingons. That's good. It's a funny looking uniform I've got there, friend. It's not a uniform. It's just a new fashion statement from my home planet. Yes, that's it. Come here for a few days of shore leave. The next thing I know, these crazy energy beings are overrunning everything. I am right there with you, Scotty.
Just as I suspected, the trialic energy is increasing. We'll be cooked like a haggis if we don't do something about it. There is a wee store on this station. The lass who runs it, Cassidy, said they might be getting a supply of the new quantum flux regulators. The Mark II versions. If we had one of those regulators, I could modify the flux coordinating sensors and use them to modulate the shields protecting the station. That would buy us some time. Go find Cassidy. She'll know where we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Scott, Lord of Technobabble. So, Cassidy. Are you Cassidy? No, you're Sully. You're not Cassidy. Oh, if I paid attention, I would notice the big green oval there. That would probably be my first clue. Okay, Cassidy, need something.
What were those things? They were floating, and one looked at me, and I felt so weak. And then it lifted me up, and oh, it was horrible.
Yes, they're all gone now. Do you have any quantum?
Are you looking for something from the store? A quantum what? I'm sorry. I'm just too scared right now to think about selling anything. I'm closing down until I get my wits about me. Maybe it would be best if I packed up and went back to Sherman's planet. I don't know.
Hey, Cassidy. We're all going to die. Where's the quantum stuff?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
Are you kidding me?
A nice stiff one, you know. Can you get one for me?
This is the part of the mission that is always driven me mad. We are in a time-sensitive situation. Everybody on the station, including Cassidy, is going to die if we don't get this fixed. And she needs a freaking nerve tonic. Personally, I'd be tempted to knock her unconscious and start searching the place myself with the tricorders. I'm gonna go over here first because it should be entertaining.
Who do you think you are? First the lights go all strange, then these weird creatures show up, and worst of all, you're here picking fights with my best customers. Look at dear, brave, handsome Captain McQueen here. He could have been killed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Orions.
Nerve tonics. How could I think about nerve tonics when my sweet Captain McQueen is injured? Oh, if you want to know about any sort of exotic beverage, go ask that drunken Scotsman. Lieutenant Commander Scott. He knows more about alcohol than anyone I've ever met. While you do that, I'm going to make my sweet prince all better.
What is it with the people on this station? Does nobody appreciate the problems we have here? Hi, Scotty. I'd love to have your quantum stuff here, but apparently nobody can do anything because they need a freaking drink.
Did you get the quantum flux regulator?
What do you know about nerve tonics?
Nerve tonics? You don't look like you need one of those. These wee beasties are troublesome, but they're not as bad as a ship full of angry Romulans. I've been known to enjoy an occasional nip of Scotch whiskey. That's the only nerve tonic you'll ever.
I'm sorry, just the irony of the
Why do you need to
statement.
know about them?
I don't need the tonic for me.
Oh, for Cassidy. Now that makes sense. She's a bonny lass, that Cassidy, and more than willing to spend a little time with the right Starfleet officer, if you know what I mean. But she hasn't got the stomach for fighting. Is she alright? I hate for anything to happen to her.
Hey, tick-tock, Scotty.
Glad to hear it. Sounds like she needs something to take a wee bit of the edge off. And that happens to be one of my specialties, along with transwarp transporter technology and warp field mechanics. Cassidy's been meeting me every evening in the bar for a spot of cheer, but I've never seen her order a nerve tonic. Perhaps if I told you what she likes, you'll be able to figure out the right mix. A bartender will help you.
Fine. What does he like to
I've seen
drink?
Cassidy order these drinks. Cassidy didn't like the salty taste of the Albion brandy, but she really enjoyed the fact that it was garnished with a drop of honey that floated on the top of the drink. Bah, garnish is getting away with a fine beverage, if you ask me. Can you imagine putting a wee piece of pineapple in a glass of 20-year-old single malt?
Okay.
It's preposterous.
Salt bad, honey good.
I've seen Cassidy order. The only time I saw Cassidy ordering blood wine was when she was feeling under the weather. Poor lass. She liked that it was served warm, but she hated those blasted heavy metal mugs the Klingons use. And the potency of it was a bit much for her to handle. A girl like Cassidy needs something with a little less kick.
Not kicky, no heavy metal mugs, but you get warm.
I've seen Cassidy order. Zalay brought Cassidy a Denevian mead a few nights ago. Ugh, terribly sweet stuff, like drinking syrup. Cassidy didn't like the cloying sweetness, and the wee bird broke out into highs because she was allergic to the fruit garnish. I'm not ordering any of that stuff again.
Okay, no
I've seen
sweets.
Cassidy order. Cassie and I got into a drinking contest with a Klingon one night, and we ended up drinking fire wine. It's not as good as scotch, mind you, but it's better than drinking warp core coolant. The next morning, after she picked herself up off the floor, Cassidy told me that the fire wine was so spicy that she was afraid it had eaten a hole through her stomach. I had to send her to see Bones for a checkup. Also, she said that drinking from those shallow bowls made her feel like someone's pet targ.
Okay, not so good with shallow bowls, not so good with
I've seen
spicy.
Cassidy order these drinks. Martinis aren't my cup of tea, as it were, but Cassidy seems to like them. She appreciates that a martini should be served as cold as possible, but since she nurses her drinks, the cold tends to dissipate, and she doesn't get the full effect. She's quite fond of those fancy stem glasses, though.
Okay, that kind of backs up the warm thing, and fancy stem
I've
glasses.
seen Cassidy order
Okay,
these
fine.
drinks.
Salmon
Cassidy
sunsets.
really likes her Sumerian sunsets, mostly because of the sour taste.
Okay, she's good with
She
sour.
thinks that the drink is so weak, it has been trying to convince the bartender to add garnish to it, to make the happy feeling last longer. But he won't, because then it wouldn't be a Sumerian sunset. Me, I say a drink is a drink. If the lady wants a garnish, give her one. I've seen Cassidy order
And
these
finally,
drinks.
the whiskey.
Cassidy really likes a little pick-me-up of a drop of Skagarian whiskey. But she doesn't like the wee shot glasses, or the silly paper umbrellas.
Pick me up,
Who
huh?
ever heard of putting a wee paper umbrella in a glass of whiskey? It's sacrilege. If I ever go to Skagara, I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. I've seen Cassidy order these drinks.
Okay, hopefully we've got enough there to get a bartender to figure out what they're doing.
What can I get you?
I need a drink.
I'll need some more details before I can make a drink for you. If you need help figuring out what combination of ingredients you want, you should
Yeah,
talk
shut up.
to one of the waitresses. That's what they're here for, after all. So, do you want it to be hot or cold?
Definitely hot.
What kind of flavor profile are you?
Make it sour.
How strong do you want this drink to be?
Make it a pick me up.
How would you like this drink to be served?
Stemmed glass.
And last but certainly not least, what kind of garnish would you like?
Drop honey.
This should be all the info I need. I'll put the drink on the bar when I'm done. I'll put the bill on your tab.
Now, fun fact here. You can take the glass, and you can order another one. And you can order so many of them, and they'll, if you're using them, will do supposedly a different dance kind of thing. That's not really my goal here, and I want to just get the quantum thingamabobbers. That's the engineering technical term. The quantum thingamabobbers.
Do you have a drink for me?
Try this.
Oh, I love warm drinks. They're so relaxing.
I'm so glad.
Oh, there's a lovely sour note to this drink. I feel so refreshed.
I'm thrilled.
Oh, there's just enough oomph to this drink to make it really stick with ya. I like that.
Good.
Oh, I love the style of this glass. It accentuates the flavor of the ingredients.
I'm thrilled.
Honey! No, not you. The drink. Oh, that little bit of sweetness is just perfect. It adds the most delightful note to each sip.
I'm ecstatic to hear that.
That is marvelous. Oh, I'm feeling much better now, thank you. Alrighty, what tool was it you needed? Oh, Quantum Flux Regulator Mark II. I have one of those right here. Please, take it as a thank you. Cheers.
You're too kind. Give it! Man, be thankful that I'm not a Klingon. I'd have gone ballistic. Unfortunately, even as a Klingon, you don't have the opportunity to go ballistic. Pipe stuff all over. Okay, Scotty, we finally got your
The right
flux
tool for
regulator.
the right job. I'll start making the adjustments, but I don't know if I've got enough time. You can't change the laws of physics. The triolic energy levels keep rising, and sensors show the blasted comet is to blame. Modulating the shields is not going to be enough. Something needs to be done about that comet if we're going to live to see the morning.
I think we can do something about that. The station is safe for now, but we still need to deal with the comet. If the Davidians are able to harness its energy, then they'll be able to pull out most of this sector into their phase variants. Past, present, it will all be disrupted. Oh, good. Now we can get to the whole point of coming back to the past in the first place. We can go wreak violence upon that comet, and so it's completely useless. I guess if we blow it up, that'll do the job. And we can go home. Should be nice, simple, easy, and straightforward from here. Let's go. Incidentally, I love the goals here. Destroy the comet, don't alter the timeline. Of course we're going to have a complication. A group of Klingon vessels have entered the system and are hailing us.
Ah, a ship from the house of Duras. I am Captain Bovat, son of Warat, and leader of my house. My brother died due to Duras' treachery. I will avenge
Bovat.
his death with the destruction of 100 Duras ships. Prepare to die.
He's more key to the Starfleet early missions. Or at least they used to be until they, redid everything, and now he's barely there. So that's another reason I'm not happy with some of the things that Cryptic's done, but I've gone into that rant before. We're not going to go into that right now. We can't change the course of events any more than they already have, and we know Bovat survives this day. Really? How do we know? We've never met Bovat. We'll need to attempt to disable his forces. He'll be calling for reinforcements. We need to destroy the comet and return to our time before we're overwhelmed. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I'll disable them, but I'm harvesting this first. Okay, D7 battlecruiser versus my apparent D7 battlecruiser. Except I'm using fancy fancy plasma weapons. And that's actually good though, because the more plasma weapons I'm using, the more I can work on this plasma damage. See that? We're still working on that. And I haven't even scratched the surface of the hull, so I have a feeling I'm not going to do that clever. I overestimated the amount of time I was going to be in space. Of course, they beat the tar out of me sufficiently, it may still happen. Making the secondary plasma damage goal, however, is looking pretty likely. Alright. We've disabled the Klingons. Well, at least that group of them. They did kind of hint there was more coming, didn't they? Ooh, scan. Must have. Alright, there's the comet. It's time to open it up. Crack it open. I wonder if activating quantum absorption will... Nope. It was worth a try. I was wondering if that would count as repairing fall. That was probably asking a lot, though. Let's hit him with a heavy plasma torpedo and see if we can crack that thing open. No, looks like I need to do a little bit more to it. Okay, Endeavor is complete with the plasma weapons. Unfortunately, healing is still not looking promising. I do love the tail of the comet. And you know, when you look at the station from the outside, you don't see any of the parts falling off. It really makes you appreciate the amount of neglect it took to get it in the condition that it's in our century. Oh look, it's broken into fragments. Thrilling. And making life even more entertaining, we have Klingon cruisers coming in. Well, we might as well go after the cruisers first. I don't need them interrupting and confusing the situation. I need some of these guys to do a lot of damage to me so I can start trying to hull heal. That said, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be able to get it down to 150,000 worth of damage. Guys, I got new shields in the front. Come and get me. I'm so disappointed. I give them the perfect opportunity to cause me real harm, and what do I get? Scratches. I mean, I don't know how much easier I can make it for the guy. Oh, looks like I disabled them. Looks like it's time to go after one of the comet fragments. Let's go to the one that's furthest away from me, because, you know, why would I do anything the easy way? It occurs to me I've been doing all this in my non-tactical mode. Oops. Well, it doesn't look like I'll need to worry too much about breaking this guy up. Should explode, and that'll be that. Eat hot plasma. And naturally, it breaks up into 3 more pieces. Seriously, guys? Well, you know what? Let's see if I can try to take him down as quick as I can here before this Klingons arrive. No, I think the Klingons have arrived. I was hoping to possibly get more aggroed on me. Because, you know, the hull damage could be useful. I'm very deliberately ignoring trouble. And the hopes that they will cause me significant amounts of damage, and I can heal and get credit for that endeavor. Yeah, that's how we do it. Keep it up, guys. You guys can start doing damage anytime now. I am disappointed on you guys. You should be really doing a lot more to me than that. No more Mr. Nice Guys, they say. I mean, no offense or anything. Ah, there we go. We finally got me down below 90%. Oh, yes, taking serious damage. Let's use a Miracle Worker and get even more. There we go. We're almost a third of the way there. I knew you had it in you, you Klingons. Of course, the downside is it maxed out my shields again, but you know. Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Besides, don't really want to take forever in this. Why am I rebalancing my shields? What is wrong with me? There we go, 1/3 of the way. I think I've disabled the ship I'll shoot at, so that's it on the hazard emitters. That counts as healing. I don't know if natural hull repairs would count for that. Not interested in finding out, honestly. That looked like it's hurt. Oh, man, he's disabled. Let's do another bit of repair here. And let's see. Nearest comet piece is 23 kilometers and closing. Of course, there's the bad news that the Klingons are now no longer with us. And that means I do not have them pounding on me to inflict more damage. You win some and you lose some. But if this fragment is like the other large fragment, it is going to break up into 3. I blow those up. That's it for this section. Then there will be but one more left. Just the way I like it. There we go. Broken up. And amazingly, no Klingon hostiles. I think I'm a little disappointed. Oh, I spoke too soon. There they are. Well, let's finish up these guys. I mean, worst comes to worst, maybe it'll be a 3rd, 4th Klingon vessel or something like that. Remember, I want to be damaged, so I can repair it. I was hoping that would help whack the comet shard, but I don't think it did as much as I was hoping. Alright. Any more Klingons active? No? Let's get the hazard emitters rolling. And let's see about tearing open there we go. Oh yeah, look at those shields going. Come on guys, do some hull damage. Show me that Klingon can-do attitude. Yeah, keep it up. 80,000. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it off on this mission, although I might still get lucky. If I can get reasonably close, that would be acceptable. Man, you Klingons suck. Come on. Show me what you got. I mean, I'm repairing your damage faster than without even hitting any of my abilities. I'm very, very disappointed in you Klingons. Okay, we're almost to 90,000, which means we only have a little over 60,000 worth of damage to worry about trying to heal. So all we gotta do is blast this thing into free, pull up the 3 fragments that come from it, and that will be the end of the Davidians. And good riddance, too. And there it goes. You know, sometimes I wonder why I even have the plasma shockwave on this ship. I mean, seriously. It does almost no damage to any of these things. Hold on. Ramming what? Oh, goody. So the Klingon's gone nuts. And I can't shoot him to disable him because, well, because he's nuts. Good news is, though, he's 24 kilometers away, and this guy is done. Bye! In fact, I'm gonna cheat it and go into cloak. Ha ha ha! Good luck finding me now, Klingons. Unfortunately, you would think that I would be seeing a message saying, game over now, and... well, I'm not seeing the game over message. I'm hoping all I gotta do is get back into this, region. Now, it's possible that I'm dealing with a bug in this mission, because a part of me says that maybe I should be shooting this guy. Maybe if I go through this cloud. Yeah, I didn't really think that was going to do it. Alright, well, I have no other alternatives available to me, so... Now, as you might have guessed, that is a bug. Because I should have gotten the message to get out of here. He wasn't supposed to be blown up. Oh well. That's just another reason why they took this out of the main episode arc, as opposed to, you know, fixing the problem. That did it, Captain. The remaining comet debris is too small to be a threat. Now we just need to find a way to... One moment, sir. I'm detecting a temporal anomaly forming inside the Tefellon.
If you are receiving this message, then you and your crew have completed your mission. Driffin's comet is destroyed, and the Davidians are no longer a threat to the Federation. You've done well. And to prove that I'm not the immoral monster that some make me out to be, I'm going to help you. When you last docked at Deep Space K7, I had some modifications made to your vessel. One of those is the addition of a Borg temporal node salvaged from a cube in the Batron cluster. It's set to return you to our time. Congratulations on a job well done. Drake out.
How do you people miss Borg tech being attached to my ship? Alright, let's see what,
Excellent work. I knew I could count on you.
There we are.
The disappearance of Driffin's comet in the 23rd century will be a scientific curiosity. I have taken steps to suppress information that might reveal our involvement, and I trust that you and your crew will refrain from telling stories about what happened here. After all, we're getting along so well. One thing I hope you'll take away from all this is that any opinion you may have of the immorality of so-called rogue elements like Section 31 is a bit naive. Contrary to popular opinion among some Starfleet officers, we do not spend our days plotting evil and committing random acts of villainy like characters in a bad holo novel. We protect the Federation from threats. Thanks to you, the Davidians are no longer on that list. If you think about it, everything we do is to preserve the freedoms you so enjoy. You should be grateful. Drake out.
Technically speaking, since we're not part of the Federation, I don't necessarily think I care about your opinion there. Okay, choose one of the following. I'm going to grab the Phaser Type 2 because I've always been fond of the design of that weapon.
Until next time.
Now, you will have noticed that we still have a decent amount of time left. And well, no, that won't work. Let's take a look at our episode list here, shall we? Because I noticed... Yeah, at some point we're going to do Temporal Ambassador, but it's not going to be today because I'm trying to get that last 60k of space damage. Unfortunately, the odds are not looking great. I need to do some violence. Unfortunately, the only violence I can think of we can do that's readily convenient is at the Dyson Sphere. Luckily, I have a transwarp there. I believe that's thanks to the very, very helpful reputation I've been working on. And if I can get to the Undine battle zone, perhaps. Oh, you know what? Actually, that makes a certain amount of sense. If I go to the episodes here, I do actually technically still have one episode to go here that is not a part of the actual story arc, called Fluidic Destruction. The Undine have... Let's see if I can get his voice right. The Undine have started to invade the Dyson Sphere. They have employed massive planet killers to destroy the Voth that we were previously engaging in the Voth zone. Now, the Undine have taken full control of a portion of the sphere and are seeking to destroy it. The Alliance has sent Admiral Charles Rex to lead the charge against the Undine. He could use your help if you can spare it. I don't think I got anywhere near what that voice is like. XP is fiddling, but, you know, I can at least get there. Space Battle Zone contact. I believe this is who I want to talk to. Go to the Space Battle Zone. This should do me the favor of doing the damage I need and complete fluidic destruction. Fight's gonna last a long time. Cal Rex is gonna need all the help he can get to put the Undine back and out of the sphere. And escalation's gonna have to wait for another time. Meantime, my goal... Nope. My goal is to start hitting these guys and take damage and heal my damage with my abilities to unlock the next. Oh, there we go. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Closer, closer, closer. Let's have us a party. Of course, there's also an excellent possibility that instead of healing the damage, that they might accidentally, you know, make me explode. Well, that is always the risk one takes when going through this kind of abuse. Come on, guys, you can do more damage than that. Get me down to at least 90% so I can get full effect of my engineering abilities. I gotta take what I can get, I guess. If I can get to the point where they have motherships come out, that might be helpful. Well, not motherships, but, you know, the world destroyers they were talking about. What I really need to do is go into the custom power settings and reduce my shield to 0. That will help my hull damage go. That's right, keep the pain alive. We've broken 100,000. We're only less than 50,000 away from unlocking that tier of repairs. Oh, of endeavors. Unfortunately, it looks like that these guys are not going to be able to meet the expectations because backup arrived. Okay, let's see if I can get myself into more trouble out there. I honestly don't care about this war zone. I just care about the fact that it's doing my ship damage that I can heal and get that last endeavor out of my way. I do that, and I will be a happy person. Of course, the key is to take damage, but not so much damage that it, you know, kills me. Because that would defeat the whole purpose of going through all of this. Yes, yes, keep it up. I should go and attack him there. Oh right, I can start the device. There we go. Stay near to power up. Oh, awesome. I didn't think that these things did damage. I can just sit inside these things and soak up damage. Yes, bring the pain. Oh, there's a ship nearby. Or maybe not. Hull heal, hull heal. I was hoping to get to 125 on that one. Yeah. Let's fly through the big jelly thing again. I am very disappointed. I'm even more disappointed by the fact that I still don't see any hostile. Where? Come on, guys, shoot me! Shoot me! Here, I'll help. I'll increase my aggro ability. Ah, there's multiple ships here. You guys are not helping. Oh my god, guys sharing shield power with me. Oh man. What's it got to do when people are being helpful when you don't want them to be helpful? Oh, man. $134. I can do this. I hope I can do this. Come on, harm my hull. Harm my hull. Trouble, 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 trouble. Let's go cause some damage. I can't rely on the ships to do me any real harm, so I've got to make use of these bubbles, which are... Oh yeah, there we go. 5,000 to go. I can do this. So very close. $4,000. Oh, we're so close. We're so close.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Oh, awesome! We're being under attack, and I'm being. And we've done it. 2 endeavors nailed down. That ain't bad. And of course, now they start doing the actual harm. Thanks, guys. Where were you when I needed you? Bloody jerks. I seem to have some serious maneuverability of this. There we go. Once we get this location nailed down, I can pull away and show what's in the reward boxes for those endeavors. There is one more endeavor I can get that's pretty easy to take care of, actually. The mining dilithium at the Blugta asteroid field. That's actually a pretty doable one. And done. And I get some Undine marks. More on that in a bit. Out we go. Now, obviously, the other endeavor, listed on my personal endeavors, the work task force, is just not going to happen. Unfortunately, it looks like all my transport points are, excuse me, aren't here. So if I want to do the mining thing, I'm going to have to go do it the hard way. Luckily, quantum slipstream is active. That should help cut down the amount of time. There's one of my boxes. Oh, and I have 2 of these. I must have missed that one earlier. I regret nothing. Doesn't say how much to mine. Okay, we're about to make the jump into the Alpha Quadrant. And there's the asteroid field. Now, while we at it, I could have sworn there was something I wanted to check as well. I just don't remember what it was. These are the kind of things that you can look forward to when you get old. You start forgetting things that were in your head literally a minute ago. Reputation. I have 80 Undine marks from various reasons. That's enough to at least do the counter command on here for the reputation. I'm not going to have enough to get me to tier 2, but tier 1 should be no problem. And thanks to a change they did with the way traits work in the game, where now I have separate active ground reputation and separate active space reputation. Of course, that would require me to do a much higher tier reputation than I've got, so I guess it ultimately doesn't actually matter. It sounded good on paper. Okay, almost to the asteroid field. Dilithium mines. I'm not sure if I've demonstrated this before. I feel like I have, but just in case you were not with me at the time, which is highly probable, one thing I need to do is be in a spacesuit. Luckily, spacesuits I've got. In fact, we're going to use the brand new one I got from the Dyson Sphere. Next, we're going to talk to this person and do some asteroid mining. I don't have a mining claim, so that would be silly for me to even bother trying. Alright, now I believe... exit airlock. There we go. Let's take a look at my locations. I have 5 locations where I have to mine, so... bouncy, 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 bouncy. Ooh, bouncy, bouncy. If I were smart, I'd be using stuff to, you know... I gotta go up this way. The problem is that we have the universal... well, this guy's not actually doing anything, so you know what? And honestly, I don't need much. I just need to have done it. Because I'm not actually getting any dilithium for doing all this, which is the real irony here. I mean, I think I get R&D materials, but I don't actually get dilithium. And from the looks of it, I don't even have to go through all of this because I've already counted as one of my 5 dealt with. So if I really wanted to save myself time, I can just start. It's enough to actually get a little bit, move on. But that kind of goes against the grain, you know? If you're gonna do this, at least put an effort into it. Oh, how about that? There was dilithium ore. I take it back. I am suitably surprised. Now I'm just jumping up the side here, trying to cut down the amount of space. Oh sure, now I find the rocket thingamabobber. Let's see how much dilithium I can get out of this bowl. I find that doing this game works a lot better if I use the keyboard as opposed to using the mouse controls. Even so, I would not go so far to say that I'm great at it. I'll settle for competent. Actually, I'd settle for not being incompetent. Oh, I've gotten to over 500 on this one, which I think is an improvement. Didn't get myself to 1,000 though. But hey, more dilithium ore. I will take that as a victory. Now I'm going to make the really big jump. Ow. That was actually bad enough that I took damage. And adding insult to injury, I can't seem to target. You know, you would think that if they have a navigation thing here, that there would be another one that would get you out of here. This plan has developed a wrinkle. Oh, there's that one. I can at least cut down the time here. But I am beginning to run out of space here, so if they don't find something that will get me up and out... Okay, this is not good. And by not good, I mean horribly bad. So I've got to go the other way and hope that that gets me out. I may have to return the airlock and come back in. Well, maybe not. It does look like I can jump up here. Oh, here we go. Have I ever mentioned how much I loathed Mario Brother games? Alright, we are free. Free, 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 free. And by free, I mean free to get to another cluster of minerals to mine. Alright, let's get this one going. Our goal is something like 800-ish. Can I match it? So far, not bad. Not horrible, but not bad. I had a great start on that last one, so... I don't know if I'll be able to match that start on this one. Not promising. Okay, we've hit 600. And we do it. We've gotten the 800. So another 200 dilithium. And 2 more locations to mine away. I need to bounce faster. Okay, let's get these rocks and see what I can do. 800 is our goal. Higher is better, of course, but I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic. And they're getting less realistic by the second. Yeah, if I get to 800, I'll be really happy on this one. $300. Getting too many of these that have exact opposites for where they end up. $10. Can I get there? Oh, it's not looking good. I made it. And still enough for the 200, which is good. One more, and then I will complete the mining, and I will complete the endeavor, and then we can open up those boxes and see what's inside. I hope this one counts. Yes, it does. And there we go. Endeavor completed. Still trying for that magic 800. I seem to be doing rather consistently. $300. $400. $500. $600. Gonna be close. $800. I will take the win. I will return the airlock. I will re-equip my standard equipment. Collect my XP. And most importantly, let's open up those boxes, shall we? First, we're going to open the rare ones, which will give me two of any one of those. Mark's package, and didn't I just say if I got a box that I'd open up for Romulans? That moment has arrived. So where did it go? Oh, here we are. Romulan marks. Next rare box. Money. Just money. Not that money is horrible, but still. The very rare one will give me 5 from those entries. An Endeavor reroll token, so, you know, if I find one of the Endeavors stink, I will be able to re-roll it and try for something else. R&D materials and lots of credits. I was hoping for more marks, but I guess that was asking too much. Finally, the Universal. 5 again. Well, at least I got some dilithium out of it. Mostly credits. Most of the stuff didn't turn out the way I would have liked it to, but it got me close. And hey, the Romulan marks puts me literally 2 marks short of what I need to get me to the last jump there. So let me take a look at my reputation. New Romulus is still rolling, so I don't have to worry about that for now. But I'll at least be able to do one more next time. And who knows? Maybe I'll have more endeavors to work out at that point. I see we are past the 10 o'clock p.m. hour. So we have reached the end of the festivities for the night. I will warp us back to... Actually, you know what? I'm going to stay put because I know what we'll be doing next week. And next week, even though next week is the day before Thanksgiving, and this time I'm pretty sure I'm accurate this time. I actually just talked about Thanksgiving a few weeks back because I got my holidays mixed up and my brain was completely shot. Oops me. But even though it is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I know a lot of people will not necessarily be doing the same kind of traveling that they've done in the past thanks to current world conditions, or more accurately, current US conditions. Depending on your country, your mileage may vary. Of course, if you're in another country, you're probably not celebrating Thanksgiving anyway. At least not the same ones that we'll be celebrating here in the States. Don't mind me. In any event, I'm not going to be doing any traveling. I will still be kind of keeping the social distance thing going and following recommendations, which means I will be doing the same stream on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. We're going to be back here in Star Trek Online doing the third and final feature episode series that is no longer part of the main mission chain. That should be part of the main mission chain. More details on that when we begin. I will also be streaming on Saturday from 1 o'clock p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. the game Star Citizen, which is going to be having a free flight 2-week period, which means that even if you don't own the game, if you have a computer that can run it, you can download it, you can play it, you can see what it's all about. It does have some pretty hefty computer requirements. Take them seriously. Read them first. My plan is to fly a bunch of ships that I have never flown before. So that'll be pretty exciting. And with that, thank you for watching. I'm glad you were able to drop in. I have no idea how many people actually did drop in, but I am hopeful. I will see you all next time. This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.